Hello and welcome to another 9-minute Bible study. Our starting point is Ephesians chapter 5, and let's start with verse 8, where it said, "For ye," who's the ye? Believers in Jesus Christ, were sometimes darkness. Here the Apostle Paul's referring firsthand to the Ephesians before they believed in the gospel message. Before they believed in the gospel message, they were in darkness. They were controlled by sin, the society that they lived in. It basically led them into idol worship, into following after their flesh, into doing things that would only please the devil, nothing that would please God. Here Paul is saying, once upon a time, you were darkness. That would be before they believed in the gospel message. Let's apply this to today. There are so many who, before they were believers in Jesus, they were in darkness. They did not see the light of the gospel. Why? Because the light of the gospel was never presented to them. Because the light of the gospel was never presented, they were in darkness. Meaning what? They were sinners. They were either following the flesh, or following false religious beliefs, or doing what society wanted them to do, or all three. That is, however, before they heard the gospel message. When one hears the gospel, they will leave the darkness and they will come into the light. Let's make this point clear. It is one thing to live a life the way that you did before you were believers in Jesus. Now that you believe in the Christ, the cross, the resurrection, the line, in the past you were sometimes darkness, should appear. Why? Because now you are no longer part of the darkness. Those days are over. In the past, yeah, but those days are over. For ye were sometimes darkness, but now ye are light in the Lord. 1. You are now in the light of God the Father. 2. The light of Jesus entered inside of you when you believed in the gospel message. The days of being in darkness is over. Now we're in the light as he is in the light. The last part of verse 8. Walk or live your life or live the lifestyle of what? Children of light. It was one thing to do the sins of those in darkness. When we were in darkness, you didn't know any better. That's all you knew. Now you're in the light. Now the light is inside of you. Now there is no excuse. You know what the light is. You know what the Spirit is leading you to. There is no excuse for living a sinful lifestyle. A lifestyle of following other religions or false doctrines or false truths. Those days are over. You left the darkness. You're in the light. Now that you know what the truth is, because you're in the light, you are not to do what you once did in darkness. You are to do what the light shows you to do. Who's the light? God the Father. I am the light of Jesus inside of you. You are to follow the light. Verse 9. For the fruit of the Spirit, as in the actions of your life, now that you are following the Spirit. When we entered the light and left the darkness, the Spirit entered into us. That's why Jesus and the Father is inside of us, because the Spirit is inside of us. The actions of a person changes when the Father and the Son through the Spirit is inside of us. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness, which means what? We will be doing good. The days of bad are over. In all goodness and righteousness, as in right actions, right standing. Now that we are in the light, now that the Spirit is inside of us, we are the righteousness of God. But one other thing, we are living the life because we are the righteousness of God every day of our life. And because we are the righteousness of God, we are living the life of the righteousness of God, which means we experience the goodness of God because we are in the righteousness of God. Truth. What is truth? Pilate, when asked, this is truth. This is what we must be doing. The truth of the Word of God. When we are in the light, we will be in the Word. And when we are in the Word, we will be in the righteousness of God, because being in the righteousness of God means being in the Word. That leads to what? Goodness. What makes it possible? The fruit of the Spirit, the actions in our life, because the Spirit is inside of us. Verse 10. Proving what is acceptable unto the Lord. There is only one way people around us will know what God accepts. How is that? Looking at your lives, looking at the conduct of the church. We are the proof of the goodness of God. We are the proof of the righteousness of God. We are the proof of the truth of God. Here's the thing, though. If we do not live our lives in the light, what are we proving? Well, we're proving that we're still in sin, and we're hurting the reputation of the believers, the church, and our God. God has a bad name in society when the believers are not living in the light, they are living in darkness. When we are living in the light, then we prove by our actions the goodness of God. We prove the righteousness of God. We prove the truth of God. All of this happens when we live the life. We're no longer in darkness. We're in light. Now those in darkness, when they look at us, what should they see? The light shining. The light will not just condemn them of their actions. The light will show them the truth of our actions and how they need to follow after the God who changed us. And that happens when they look at our lives and they see a changed and a different life. The way we conduct ourselves, it does matter, because it is a proof of the goodness of God, not just in our community, not just with our family, but in the church as a whole. We are positive representatives of Christ when we live the life. And we'll pick up with this in our next lesson.